It's officially grocery day, and so I thought it'd be a perfect week to show you guys what eating on a budget looks like. We are really careful to try to make our money go as far as possible while still trying to eat healthy, and it is totally doable. And so let's go shopping, and then I'll kind of show you what we prepped for the week, and throughout the week I'll show you the meals we make. So let's go. Okay, so I'm back from the grocery store, and I'm going to show you how I can make 7 meals for under $50. These are all going to be dinners in no particular order, but I'm just gonna show you guys what I got and how we're gonna make this for 7 days, and I will tell you the exact totals, but it's amazing what you can do if you play. Okay, meal number 1 is going to be chicken tortilla soup. So all of this cost exactly $12.28, and this is going to create 2 dinners for 2 people and possibly a lunch as well. Usually soup goes a really long way. So we have hominy, tomatoes, chicken stock, onion. This chicken is actually for 2 separate meals. So I bought the bigger package, it comes out cheaper, and we're gonna divide this into 2 meals this week, and corn tortillas. You could also add beans. I'm currently not eating beans for baby girl, but that would also help to make this a little bit more voluminous. But this is meal number 1, and like I said, $12.28. It's gonna make dinner for me and my husband 2 nights and possibly lunch. Let me show you the next meal. Alrighty, the next meal is also gonna make dinner for my husband and I 2 nights, and this is going to be sesame chicken. So I'm gonna use the other half of this chicken package, and then we're gonna do rice, which is a pantry item, and then these are for a vegetable stir fry, snap peas, a yellow squash, onions, jalapenos, and then some of these carrots. And this will be a meal that cost approximately $10.50 for 2 nights in a row. So again, great budget buy. Buying this bigger package helps me spread it out. So let me show you the other meals for this week. Okay, this meal is also really simple, but really delicious. We have a pack of linguine, 3/4 of a pound of shrimp, an onion, some lemon, some zucchini, and then we'll use garlic and then seasonings from the pantry. And this will create a meal for $10. So this, depending how much pasta you use, could be like a dinner plus some lunch, or it could be even 2 days of dinners. Most likely for us, this will be 1 dinner and then a lunch. But again, another great buy for $10. Okay, this meal is a wild card because I showed up to the grocery store and I wasn't quite sure what the last meal would be. However, these baby back ribs were on sale, so we went with them. So these baby back ribs were $7.50, and then we'll have asparagus and some air fryer potatoes. Again, this will probably be a dinner and maybe lunch for 1 person, but a great buy. So this entire meal came to $14. It is the most expensive one, but I still think it's a great deal. Making ribs at home is super easy. Just throw them in the oven. But yeah, so that's 7 days of dinners for under $50. It was exactly, I think, $47, which is a steal. And we're still gonna have leftover carrots, rice, and pasta left over, so we're not using everything. I didn't include any seasonings, but I will show you guys the recipes as I make them throughout the week. And then I spent another $20 or so on pantry things that I needed, like bread, cheese, eggs. Okay, so the first meal of the week I decided, because I'm a little bit short on time, is going to be pasta with shrimp, onions, zucchini, and then some garlic and lemon. But first we need to peel and take all the poop out of the shrimp. If you get wild caught shrimp, almost always has lots of poop pieces. So let's do that first. Alrighty, it is bath time, so we're gonna take a little break. I was able to clean all the shrimp after I give her a bath and put her to bed. We'll come back, chop the zucchini, onions, and put water to boil, cook the pasta, throw everything together. This is a really quick meal. So bath and bed, and then I will be back to keep cooking. Alrighty, so remember that this is the only time you can actually season the pasta is when your water is boiling. So make sure you put plenty of salt. I like to go pretty generous on the salt here because, like I said, this is the only time you actually can season your pasta. And you don't need to add oil to your water, just the salt. I'm gonna put the pasta in, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I break my pasta, and I know you're not supposed to. Today we won't, but sometimes, I don't know, I kind of like it. But we'll put that in there and let that cook, and then we'll fry everything up and it'll be done. not look like much, but it is so delicious. Mine can't have cheese. With Parmesan cheese, 1,000 times better. However, Vlad's will have cheese, but this is mine, and we'll do a little taste test. A little pasta, a little zucchini. That hits the spot. I added a little bit of olive oil, a little bit more salt, and a little bit of red hot. So, so good. Super simple. I think we'll have enough for leftovers tomorrow. The meat might be gone, so we might have to repurpose some meat from the freezer or from the fridge. But so good and hearty and delicious. So I'll see you guys for our next meal. So it is the next day. So yesterday we had a pasta. We still have quite a bit of leftovers. However, the protein is pretty low. I did find a piece of sausage in our fridge, so I'm gonna chop that up and reheat this with a piece of sausage, and then we'll have some sourdough from the pantry with olive oil, and that will be dinner for today. But again, this meal went for 2 days, and it was not even a full package of pasta. I think it was a little bit over half. It was like 10 ounces. So that is fantastic. So we're eating leftovers with a little bit of an addition, and tomorrow will be a new recipe. Alrighty guys, it's officially day 3, so we're doing a new recipe. We ate pasta for the first 2 days, and today we are making sesame chicken and veggie stir fry. It is really early for dinner. However, if you have a baby, you know, if they're down for a nap, you want to get things done. So we're going to go ahead and prep all the veggies now during her afternoon nap. So when it comes time to cooking later, it'll be quick and snappy. Alrighty, we were able to prep everything. I put snap peas in here, and then I have like this freezer meal thing. It's perfect for chopped veggies. So all of our veggies are chopped in here. And little tip, keep whatever little bag that you get with like your vegetable in it and put all your trash in here, so you don't have to go back and forth to the trash can. And then you just toss this at the end, and it's like a little garbage bowl, but easy to toss, and you were gonna throw it away anyway. So all of this is ready. My little sous chef woke up from her nap after 30 minutes, so that's that. But she's hanging in her bouncer. So I'm gonna try and get a couple more things ready, and we will be able to cook quickly tonight. Because if you know your mom, bedtime is a lot. And so the less I have to prep for dinner, the better. So I can just put her down and come and start cooking right away. Alrighty, here's tip number 2 that I'm gonna give you is get some gloves. And this makes it so much easier when you have to wash your hands, especially having a baby. You don't want to be touching raw chicken, and if something happens you have to touch your baby, you can just rip the gloves off. And obviously I still wash my hands really well because things can get through these, but it just makes everything a little bit more sanitary. And if you remember, we're going to use half this for our chicken tortilla soup and half for the sesame chicken. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these into like 1-inch cubes, and then I'll put the other 2 pieces of chicken in a bag so we can use them for chicken tortilla soup. And Girlie's talking to me, aren't you? Yeah. Alrighty, so I have some water boiling to make our rice, and then if you have a wok, this is the best way to get like a nice even cook. But basically I'm going to dredge the chicken in cornstarch and just kind of like shallow fry, so you're not going to deep fry and you don't have to batter your chicken. And then I'll make the sauce, we'll toss everything together once it's cooked, and then the veggies, and that'll be dinner. So. So I made the sesame chicken in the same wok. It looks so, so good. I didn't film that because Vlad was in charge of that while I put little Missy to bed. And then now we're stir frying the vegetables here in the wok. The rice is done. And once this is done, it'll be time to eat. So let me finish this up and I'll show you the plate. Here's the final bowls. So we have the sesame chicken, the veggies, and the rice underneath. Okay, so let's get the final taste test. So a little bit of veggie, a little bit of rice. That's so good. And then the sesame chicken. That is restaurant quality and so cheap and so delicious. So definitely try this out. If you guys want a recipe, let me know, because chef's kiss. And we have leftovers for tomorrow. So we'll be eating this tomorrow, and I'll see you guys on day, I guess, 5 for a new recipe. Alrighty guys, it is day 5, which means we're having ribs. So I found a recipe that we can oven bake these ribs. So I'm going to season them, wrap them in foil, and throw them in the oven for like 2.5 hours, and then they will be delicious and falling off the bone. And we're gonna eat this with our crispy air fryer potatoes and asparagus. So let's get cooking. so the ribs are done because I've had to do things in pieces, but here we have potatoes that we're gonna air fry and then some asparagus. And once this is done, we'll eat dinner. So let me throw these in the air fryer and these in the oven. We're just gonna use actually the same pan we made the ribs in, so it gets all that yummy rib flavor. But yeah, very simple and easy to make as long as you're in the house. You can do a million other things while the ribs cook. So let's cook this so we can eat dinner. Alrighty guys, it is day 6 and someone is a little bit cranky, so I have a little helper today who wants to be snuggly. But we're making our chicken tortilla soup. So we're gonna throw everything in the Instapot and turn it on, and then we will add hominy after it's done cooking in the Instapot, just for the last like 5 minutes. And then I'm gonna put some beans and some for Vlad. But yeah, we made it. A whole week of meals for under $50. This has been dinners. We've had some leftovers for some lunches, but it was a steal and everything was delicious and healthy. So let's make our last meal, day 6, but will last us through day 7. That is a full week of meals. Here's the final product. I can't tilt it very much, so I'll show you guys now. But this is the soup. It is so good. What I did is after I pressure released, I threw in beans and hominy and 1 torn up corn tortilla to add some thick creaminess to it. And I let it sit for like 10 minutes with the lid on and it was perfect. And then I made some homemade corn tortilla chips. You just cut up the tortillas, and then once they're done in the air fryer for like 5 minutes at 400, you toss them with some salt and some fresh lime juice. Healthy, delicious tortilla chips. But this is dinner for today and tomorrow, and that is a full week of meals under $50, and that gave us some lunches as well, not just dinners. And it just goes to show you that you can cook healthy, delicious meals on a budget, and you can have variety, and you don't have to meal prep and eat the same thing every single day. But this is just a little bit of a glimpse of how we budget our meals and still eat so good every single week. But I hope you guys like this. Make sure you like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel to be part of the family. I love y'all. Night.